Academic is recommended as an educational and informational program for children. Boston! Our Lady of Mount Carmel! And Royal Lake meet today in a first round match on It's Academic. Hello, I'm Mac McGarry. Here's the opening round. Each team begins with 100 points. 10 up for a right answer, but 10 off for a wrong answer. In this round, the contestants here in the studio don't see the writing on their screens that you do at home. Team whose light is on first has a chance to answer. Pass the butter, please. You'd better watch your cholesterol here because these opening questions are all about butter and people and things connected with butter. Identify the following. Number one, the butterbush is a shrub native to this smallest continent. All right, Wiley. Your answer.
In Australia.
Australia is right. Next, Little Buttercup appears in this nautical Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. Wiley.
HMS Pinafore.
You got it. The biggest U.S. butter producer is this Midwest dairy state. Not Carmel.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is right. This author used the term Butterfingers in his Pickwick Papers. Wiley.
Dickens.
Right. Ghee is a clarified butter popular on this Asian subcontinent. Falston.
India.
Right. Barley Butterbur is an innkeeper in this trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. Wiley.
Lord of the Rings.
Right. This is usually the first stroke in an individual swimming medley. Not Carmel.
Butterfly.
That is right. Smoother than butter is a phrase from this biblical book of hymns. Wiley.
Songs.
Right. General Daniel Butterfield wrote this bugle melody played at military funerals. Wiley. Your answer? Taps is the answer. Colonial farmers used this wooden device to make butter from cream. Mount Carmel.
Churn.
That's it, and there's the opening round of It's Academic. It's Academic. Brought to you by Giant Food. Giant. Fresh ideas, great values. That's Giant. Ladies, thank you. Big crowd here for our first round match featuring team number one, Falston High. They're in Harford County, Maryland. Here's Lisa Philippos.
Hi, I'm a 17-year-old senior at Falston High School. I'm the president of our National Honor Society and also president of our Spanish National Honor Society and the Spanish Club. I'm the treasurer of our International Club. I also participate in varsity cross country and track. And I'd like to thank our family and friends for coming out to support us today, and also our coach, Mrs. Story.
Excellent resume, Lisa. Here's Adam Hull.
Hi, I'm a 17-year-old senior. I'm involved with our chemathon team as well as our forensics team. I'm also a member of National Honor Society and our German National Honor Society. I run cross country and I also run track. And I'd like to thank our cheerleaders for coming out to support us.
These young people are busy. All right, now here is the first of 4 young men on the show today named Matt. Here is Matt the First, Greenwood.
Hi, I'm a senior at Falston High School. I play football. I'm also involved in National Honor Society, German National Honor Society, and our chemathon team. And I'd like to thank all our alternates, Chris Frick, Chris Dubé, and Sean Kenny for coming down with us today.
Take a look at the screen, Falston. Each correct answer worth 20 points to you. Rent near media. Might suggest property near TV stations, but rearrange the letters to name what sea that separates Europe from Africa.
Mediterranean.
Right. Definition, if you saw someone sauntering, you would have seen that person engaged in which of these activities?
Strolling.
Right. What one word placed in these blank spaces will yield titles of dissimilar books by Aldous Huxley and Wendell Willkie?
World.
That is right. Out of order. These 3 men, Hirohito, Galileo, and Carver, all died in the month of January, different years. Arrange them in correct chronological order.
Galileo, George Washington Carver, and Hirohito.
Right. Red and white. These 2 colors appear with blue in our flag, but they appear with what verdant color in the flags of both Italy and Iran?
Green.
Right. Health is not a condition of matter, but of mind. This is a quote from Mary Baker Eddy, a woman who founded what American religion that believes in spiritual healing rather than modern medicines?
Church of Scientology.
No, it's actually Christian Science. So Falston, 210 after your part of the round. 210. Here's team number 2, Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Baltimore County. First for Mount Carmel is Mary Chess.
Hi, I'm a 17-year-old senior.
I'm Vice President of the National Honor Society, a student government representative, and in the spring I played lacrosse. I'd like to thank our fans and cheerleaders for coming out to support us today.
Thank you, Mary. Mike Young.
Hi, I'm a 17-year-old senior. I'm the president of the academic team, the manager of girls basketball, and I'd like to thank our principal, Mrs. Sipes, our vice principal, Sister Michelle, and everyone else.
I shouldn't be such a chauvinist, but how does this work out as you manager of girls basketball? Does that work out pretty well for you, Mike? Ah, I see, okay. Here's Matt number 2, Matt Hood.
I'm a 16-year-old junior at Mount Carmel on its academic team, and I'm also a member of Friday Friends.
What is that?
It's a program where upperclassmen tutor and mentor like first and second graders.
Very good. Take a look at the screen, Mount Carmel. True phrase. You'll earn 20 here when you rearrange this to name what Near Eastern river that joins the Tigris.
Euphrates.
Right. Applause, ridicule, indifference. If your ideas were met with derision, they would have received which of these responses?
Indifference.
Ridicule is that answer. Thereby hangs a blank told by an idiot. To complete these 2 lines from Shakespeare, you need to insert in the blanks what one word, a synonym for story.
Tail.
Tail.
Right. These 3 men, Mellon, Hamilton, Rubin, all have served as secretaries of the Treasury. Arrange them in correct chronological order.
Hamilton, Mellon, and Rubin.
You have it. What's missing? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, 3 of the 4 elements most necessary for the growth of plant life. Also needed is what element? Atomic number 7, that makes up most of the air we breathe.
Nitrogen.
Right. I don't want Ruffles and Flourishes played. Although Jimmy Carter disliked White House ceremony, he eventually agreed to have military bands play not only Ruffles and Flourishes, but also what official presidential march to?
Hail to the Chief.
That's right. Mount Carmel, 2:30 after you're part of the race. Now let's get to Howard County. Howard County, Columbia, Maryland, the team from Wild Lake. Here's Matt number 3, Matt Buckner.
Hey, Mac.
All right, Matt, my pal.
I'm a 17-year-old senior at Wild Lake, and I'd just like to thank the band and the cheerleaders for coming out to support us today.
Okay, Matt, Brian Hull.
I'm a 17-year-old senior, and I'd like to thank our alternates, Willie and Moses, for coming out, and all the other students who came to support us today.
Thank you, Brian. And Matt number 4, Matt Mugman.
I'm a 17-year-old senior, and I'd like to thank all the members of families who supported us, and also our coach, Mrs. Austin, our principal, Mr. Plunkett, and Mr. Cobble and Mr. Kramer for supporting us.
You have members of the band here today, directed by Nicole Turney. All right, Wild Lake, here we go. I yawn, Papa. Stop yawning, rearrange these letters to name the ancient Roman road extending from Rome to Brindisi. Have that? The Appian Way. Perceptive, overweight, foolish. Which of these adjectives is the best synonym for the word astute?
Perceptive.
Right. What same word would you put in both these blanks to complete titles of an opera by Mozart and a collection of Houdini's notebooks?
Magic.
Right. Hamlin, Bush, Burr, these 3 men all served as vice presidents of the U.S. Arrange them in correct chronological order.
3, 1, 2.
Burr, Hamlin, Bush, so that was with Jefferson, Lincoln, and Reagan. There we go. Press, petition, assembly. Here are 3 of the freedoms guaranteed us by the First Amendment. Name one of the other 2 freedoms identified with the First Amendment.
Speech.
Or religion is right. He lived in his palace with like a hog and a sty. Here you have one historian's rather nasty description of what Russian monarch, usually referred to more deferentially as the Great.
Alexander.
Peter the Great is the answer. You should have listened to your friend on the other side. And your score, Wild Lake, is 220. The end of the round. Each year on its academic, Giant Food awards more than 100 scholarship grants to help deserving students continue their education. At the end of today's match, the awards will be presented to the school. In this first round match, grants total $925, with the winning team school receiving $375 and each of the other schools $275. During this school year, grants to schools appearing on its academic are over $85,000, and over the years Giant has been our sponsor, they have contributed over $2 million to participating schools. Giant Food doesn't select individual scholarship recipients, but leads that choice and the administration of funds to the school. Before we get to the visual round, here's the score recap in a good close match. Falston, Harford County 210, Mount Carmel, Baltimore County 230. Wild Lake in Columbia 220. Let's look at all of these now. Each question is a visual question. 10 up for a right answer, but 10 off for a wrong answer. Here's number one. A 19th century artist depicted the harbor of what Midwestern city, now the third most populous in the U.S.?
Chicago.
Chicago's right, although it is now in the Smithsonian Institution. This large blue diamond has what name? Falston. The Hope Diamond. Newsrooms have changed a lot since the 20s when Ben Hecht and Charles MacArthur... get the light off. All right, here we go. Newsrooms have changed a lot since the 20s when Ben Hecht and Charles MacArthur wrote what play, whose title suggests the first printed sheet of any newspaper? All right, Mount Carmel.
Front page.
You got it. Now, this expression is equal to what number? Wild Lake.
1/3.
-3 is that answer, 10 down. Next, we see some cheerful march music from Prokofiev's work about what Russian boy who encounters a wolf? Wild Lake.
Peter.
Right. Paratroopers of the 82nd Airborne returned to Fort Bragg after a 1989 U.S. military action. Mount Carmel?
Panama.
In Panama, is right. These ruins at Corinth are all that is left of the temple of what ancient Greek sun god? Wild Lake.
Helios.
Right, Apollo or Helios. In the year 999, this golden bowl was created by a craftsman in the area that is now what Black Sea Republic, whose capital is Tbilisi. All right, Wild Lake.
Azerbaijan.
No, it's Georgia. I'm sorry, 10 down. This is an old Chinese vessel, once used as a container for what beverage? That in the title of a Ray Bradbury story. Wild Lake.
Wine.
That's right, dandelion wine. This species of giant woodpecker is popularly named for the resemblance of its bill to what valuable substance that makes up an elephant's tusk? Wild Lake.
Ivory.
That's it, and there's the end of the round.
Green, gold, and white. Wild Lake team, let's fight. Pull together, don't give in, yell fight. Come on, to win. Let's get it, fight. To win. Yeah, green, gold, and white. Come on, Wild Lake team, let's fight.
All right, welcome back. Now it's time for the score recap and our introduction of the faculty, coaches, and advisors and guests who are with the teams. Good close match continuing. Falston, Harford County has a score of 220. They coach Ms. Patricia Story. Thank you, Ms. Story. Our Lady of Mount Carmel is in a tie for first with 250 points. Their coach, Ms. Jennifer Gay. Ms. Gay. Wild Lake in Columbia also in the tie at 250. We welcome their coach, Ms. Nancy Austin. The principal, Mr. Roger Plunkett. English department superstar, Mr. Josh Kramer. And from the math department, Mr. Charlie Koppelman. Thank you all. Now, teams, moving on into the next round. Each correct answer again with 20. See the lights above the team score if they're on in a row like that. That will show 8 questions in a row answered correctly. 25-point bonus for that. Falston, you're up, so Mount Carmel select. Mike, which one?
3.
All right, here you are. It's Lisa, Adam, and Matt with their turn in the round. Although the U.S. developed, or deployed rather, Hitler's European actions in the 30s, we did not enter World War II until we were attacked by what non-European nation?
Japan.
Right. A literary scholar would go to Canterbury Cathedral to meet Chaucer's pilgrims, but to what London Abbey to find Chaucer's tomb?
Westminster.
Right. In May 1998, war-torn Afghanistan was hit by what natural disaster that killed 5,000 people and measured 6.9 on the Richter scale?
Earthquake.
Right on the monitor. After salt water has been distilled, the salt is found... well, all right. Well, I'll give you the math question. All right, here's the... Solve for Y.
Y equals 9.
That is right. In France, some other goose rhymes are attributed to Bigfoot Bertha, who was the mother of what great Frankish king crowned emperor in the year 800?
Charlemagne.
Right. Someone stranded on a desert island should recall the survival techniques of what shipwrecked Swiss family who titled a J.R. Wyss novel?
Robinson.
That is right. Now let's check this monitor again, see how we do. After salt water has been distilled, the salt is found in which of these places?
Condenser.
Distilling flask. After spending 4 years in exile because of his opposition to his country's military government, Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka has returned to what African homeland, whose largest city is Lagos?
Nigeria.
That's right. 7 out of 8 false and 360 after you're part of it. All right. Mount Carmel is up, so Wild Lake select. Brian, which one?
2.
Okay, here are Mary, Mike, and Matt. You can't go wrong saying Matt. There's one on every team, I tell you that now. In the Spanish-American War, Admiral Dewey steamed to the Philippines from the fleet's anchorage in what British Crown colony returned to China in 1997.
Hong Kong.
Right. Sic semper tyrannis, the Latin motto of the state of Virginia, was also the phrase shouted by what assassin after he had shot Lincoln? Say again.
John Wilkes Booth.
Right. In 1909, Congress passed the Lacey Act, which was apparently the first federal law to protect what form of wildlife? Avidly studied by ornithologists.
Birds.
Right, on the monitor. Let's see what comes up. Here we go. A sun lamp cannot be made of the same glass that is put in ordinary windows because it would absorb which of these kinds of rays that are responsible for the tanning process?
Ultraviolet.
Right. While the Russian city of Sverdlovsk has reverted to the name Ekaterinburg, it's still right there in the middle of what mountains separating Eastern Europe from Asia?
Urals.
Right. The big bad wolf was defeated by the 3 little pigs. But what other wolf emerged victorious from his combat with Grendel in an old epic poem?
Beowulf.
Right, on the monitor. Simplify this expression, giving your answer in fractional form.
I don't know. Just say 1.
Your answer?
1.
Now, 1/8 is the answer, so no points. 10 down is it? No, just no points. In the 16th century, William the Silent quietly led to independence what small lowlands country still ruled by the House of Orange?
Netherlands.
That's it. 7 out of 8 there. Mount Carmel 390. Maybe number 1 here for Wild Lake in Columbia, Maryland. No longer a prison, Alcatraz is now a part of what national recreation area that shares its name with a suspension bridge across the entrance to San Francisco Bay.
Golden Gate.
Right. George Washington was the father of his country, but James Madison was called the father of what document that begins, "We the people of the United States"?
Constitution.
Right. According to Homer, the warriors who fought at Troy were protected by armor. But what legendary hero killed in battle there would have been better off had he worn heavy boots to protect his vulnerable heel?
Achilles.
Right. On the monitor, these 3 elements. Which one makes up the usual standard electrode in electrochemistry?
Silver.
Hydrogen is that answer. The San Jacinto Mountains are in California, but the San Jacinto or Jacinto River is deep in the heart of what southwestern state where the Battle of San Jacinto was fought?
Texas.
That is right. Wild Honey was the title of the first drama by what Russian playwright who later sweetened dramatic literature with The Cherry Orchard?
Chekhov.
Right, on the monitor. Taking positive roots, perform the indicated operation, giving your answer in terms of the square root of 2.
12 root 2.
That's right. My ministers are pro-German, my people are pro-Russian, and I am the only neutral in the country, wailed King Boris in 1941 when he was on the throne of what East European country whose capital is Sofia?
Bulgaria.
That is right. So Wild Lake 390, the end of the round. This year, Giant Food celebrates the 10th anniversary of Apples for the Students Plus. To date, over 200,000 computers, CD-ROM, software packages, TVs and VCRs, microscopes, telescopes, calculators, and other educational equipment have been awarded to elementary and secondary schools. That's over $52 million worth of equipment. And Giant will continue to offer Apples for the Students Plus to over 3,200 schools. To earn computers or other valuable educational equipment for your school, remember to save your special Apples for the Students 10th Anniversary register tapes from Giant and send them to your school. And look for double credit items in your store to earn more equipment for your school even faster. Look for Giant associates wearing these Apples for the Students Plus ribbons, or pick up an Apples for the Students Plus flyer at your local Giant. And in addition, all of today's contestants will receive this school assignment planner, provided courtesy of Giant's Apples for the Students Plus and Premier School Agenda. scores have stayed in proportion before we get to the grab bag. I think each team had 7 out of 8. Let's check it again. Still nice and close. Falston 360. The tie for first remains. Mount Carmel 390. Wild Lake 390. The grab bag will decide it. Each correct answer worth 20 to the team, 20 off for a wrong answer. Visual questions, 30 points up or down. In order to get the gopher wood required for his ark, Noah might have visited what gopher state flooded today by Viking football fans? Wild Lake.
Minnesota.
That's right. Over the last 30 years, there has been a sizable decrease in the average American's consumption of what nutritious beverage, sometimes referred to as cow juice? Wild Lake.
Milk.
Milk is right. If a line joining the midpoints of the two legs of a right triangle is 5 inches long, how long is the hypotenuse of the right triangle? 10 inches on the monitor. This wood carving depicts the face of Henri Christophe, who in 1811 crowned himself king of what French-speaking country? Wild Lake.
Haiti.
That's good. 30 points there. Modern safety laws would have made Ben-Hur wear a helmet and install seat belts in what two-wheeled vehicle? Wild Lake.
Chariot.
Right. Over $2 million was recently paid for the oldest surviving copy of the work of an ancient Greek mathematician scientist. Falston.
Pythagoras.
Archimedes, whose famous principle involved water displacement. 20 down. After the conductor, the leader of a symphony orchestra is its concertmaster, a musician who almost always plays what stringed instrument? Falston.
Violin.
That's right. The monitor, a 30-pointer. This is a copy of what 1862 congressional act that promised free federal land? Mount Carmel.
Homestead Act.
Right, 30 points. A complete encyclopedia was thoroughly read at the age of 12 by what French physicist who founded the study? Mount Carmel.
Louis Pasteur.
Ampere, the study of electrodynamics, and gave his name to a measure of electric current. 20 down. While her suitors weaved drunkenly through the courtyard, what wife of Odysseus?
Penelope.
Penelope weaved on a loom all day. Although the old ship Constitution is birthed in Massachusetts, the Constitution state is which one?
Connecticut.
Connecticut is right. The monitor, 30-pointer. Luckily, the FBI captured the Nazi saboteurs who landed on Long Island with these boxes of explosives in what second year of American participation in World... All right, Wild Lake.
1943.
Actually, 42 in World War II, 42, so 30 down. You would expect the ancient Roman hero Horatius to be an expert player at what card game, which also names the structure he defended from the Etruscans? Bridge is the answer. Old Yeller might share a kennel with what other fictional dog that was the main character in Jack London's All Right, the Wireless?
White Fang.
Your answer?
White Fang.
Buck in Call of the Wild, 20 down. On a map, 1/2 inch represents 10 miles. Two cities are 5 inches apart on the map. Wild Lake.
20.
They're 100 miles apart in reality, 20 down. December is the last month of the year, but last alphabetically is what month in which autumn begins? Wild Lake.
September.
That's right. Long before Freud, what biblical character interpreted a dream in which 7... All right, Falston. Your answer?
No.
Joseph.
Joseph is right, and there's the end of the game. Welcome back. Now it's time to proceed with today's giant awards, and our first award goes to the fine team from Falston High School. 380 and the award for 275 from Giant. Thank you, Lisa, Adam, and Matt. And here's the excellent team from Our Lady of Mount Carmel. 100 points, another award from Giant for $275. And now our winning team and winning score in Columbia, Maryland, it's 470 big points. Wild Lake! So the award from Giant is $375. So congratulations, Matt, Brian, and Matt. We'll be seeing you again in the playoff match among first-round winners. Next week, it's another first-rounder, Centennial, Chesapeake, and McDonough. I'm Mac McGarry. Thanks, parents and teachers. Now, come on up here.